Mind you, we have a points battle that's going on. 14 markers. You can definitely tell I'm tired. 14 markers separated the top two. That is the 25 of Craig Castle and the 68 of Bubba Foster.
Okay, all right. Couple talented drivers here.
Now, mind you, listen to those two names and listen to what's going to happen here. So, Kyle Yak fastest, Bubba Foster second. Greg Walters drove the Jerry Schramm 16S car because he's on vacation.
Okay.
Qualified third. Fourth was Jeff Lovell, John Campos, Kenny Miller, Craig Castle, Aaron Ellis, remember that name. Sean Gentry came out.
Okay, in the 20G.
You're going to hear his name again. Todd Newton, Doug Lockwood, Matt Jenner, Brandon Potter, Christy Summers, Don Schott, and Cody Jones. Okay?
Okay.
That was qualifying. Feature number 1. John Campos sits up front.
Campos was on the pole. Or near the front of the pack?
Near the front of the pack.
Okay, we'll call it near the front of the pack.
Yeah. So, Kyle Yak and stuff was kind of back. Well, let's see. So Campos qualified 5th. Yak qualified 1st, right? These two would have a ton of time together, 50 laps. Only the top 8 out of the 16 that started were on the 50-lap mark.
Only 8 cars on
Only 8 cars.
50 laps.
The 9th person was 33 laps, 26 laps, 25 laps, 17, 16, 15.
So 9th place was 17 laps down.
Uh-huh. Listen to this. So on lap 15, right? Kenny Miller was very, very strong, running towards the front. Happens to be spins over there in turn number 4. Kind of the whole field kind of wads up a little bit and backs it up over one of the Uke tires over there in turn number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Rips a major hole in the oil pan.
Oh no!
Done. Starts pulling back up on the track. Big fluid and stuff on the front stretch. It sucks. Then on top of that,
coming off a win, yeah, that's a tough deal.
Yeah.
I mean, just
then on top of that, the points leader has the whole right front ripped off his car. Craig Castle on the 25.
That's not good for points. You're talking about a double points night.
Double points, double pay. So Greg Walters, though, on lap number 1, didn't even make it around for lap number 1. Destroy something underneath that car. Just ignited something coming down the backstretch going into 3.
Fire?
No, just sparks and I mean just something broke majorly underneath that car. Parked it up over there at a turn number 4 against the front stretch wall, and that's where he sat. They put him on the hook, and I mean he didn't even make one lap. Literally, he didn't show the rest of the night until feature number 2. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Miller only did 15 laps. Castle only did 16. Jeff Lovell only did 17. But it was pretty bad for Castle. Castle was pretty annoyed having the right front ripped off the car. Sure. It was bad. But listen to this. John Campos is, as soon as he got out front, was gone. There was not catching him unless there was a caution, whatever like that. Kyle Yak came up through the field in the 47, ran second. Matt Jenner third. Aaron Ellis in the 48. Now listen to this name. This kid is, whatever he's doing to his program, whatever he's starting to do in that 48 car, he's starting to show that he is a contender to win because he is showing some he's showing some light at the end of the door that, hey, look, you're going to have to race me hard to get past me. And that's literally what they had to do. They had to race him to get past him because he was that good. Bubba Foster, listen to this. He was out front he was up towards the front for a while. I think he was almost third with 3 or 4 laps to go and finished 6th. But that is a huge points deal because Castle was only 16 laps in and Foster actually did all 50.
Okay.
Now we have a points battle. Big points battle. There ain't no more 14 markers. Okay? John Campos goes off and just wins this one.
Well, you put him near the front of the pack to start this race, and it's hard to bet against that.
Guess where John was? Literally all the way to the top of the cushion.
I don't.
He
I
never
believe
he never made it to the bottom. He had that car so wound up all the way at the high side. It was insane. It was
that.
crazy.
Lightning, slinging it.
Oh, lightning was definitely that. Heat race number 1. Listen to who won this. Cody Jones.
Cody
That
Jones.
young kid in the
62
car.
All right.
That's from St. Helens.
Okay.
That doesn't have the best of the best, or nothing like that, but goes out there and wins heat race number 1.
Good for him.
And he wins it by over a second.
Wow.
Over
Okay.
Jeff Lovell.
Wow, Lovell's fast.
Don Schott.
Okay.
Kyle Yak was 3 seconds behind. Craig Castle, Christy Summers, Todd Newman, and John Campos.
So that you know what? That's a big, big win for that kid right there.
Campos went from winning the 50-lap feature to 8th out of 8 in heat race number 1.
Well, you know what? You look at the names in that heat race. That's.
But Kyle Yak, that was 2nd, 4th, 3 seconds down.
Okay.
Heat race number 2, right? Listen to this another guy, Aaron Ellis.
All right. We've
Right?
talked about him a little bit on the
In
show.
the 48 car.
We've talked about
both
him.
Cody Jones and Aaron win their heat races.
Good for
now,
them.
these are guys and stuff that you think about, okay, yeah, they're top 5, whatever.
Sure.
Hell no, not anymore. These guys are
They
showing.
got some attention now.
Dad, damn right.
They've got some attention.
They've got some big ten. Did I say gosh darn right?
I don't know.
Dang-
I'm sure
dang
we'll,
right.
if you cuss about it, we'll hear about it. I hear about it every week.
I haven't cussed though. Just that one. Just that
well.
one. I said shoot. And ladders. So Aaron Ellis, right, wins it by almost half a second over Sean Gentry. Sean Gentry, man, this guy
You don't
was,
sleep on
was
Sean.
showing. We'll get into.
He took a 6-year hiatus. He's back behind
We
the wheel.
talked about it too.
And he's figuring things out now.
This
I'll
is
tell
race
you,
number 5. He's back.
but Sean is a race car driver. I've seen him win numerous features, and different types of race cars. Sean's one of those guys that has that natural knack to figure it out.
That's right.
And when he gets it figured out, all these big names you're talking about, I can promise you they'll be dealing with that 20G car.
Well, they had to deal with him here in the Trophy Dash. Ellis, Sean Gentry, Matt Jenner, Doug Lockwood, Bubba Foster was 5th
Okay.
in heat race number 2.
So heat races here didn't go real good for some of these top drivers.
Nope, not
Okay.
even close.
All right.
So this is the kicker. So Trophy Dash, Cody Jones was in it, Aaron Ellis was in it, Jeff Lovell, and Sean Gentry. Sean Gentry would win over Aaron Ellis by over half a second. When I talked to him in trophy presentation, I came up and he gave me a big old hug and he says, "Hey man," I said, "Hi." He said, "How the hell are you, man?" I said, "It's been a little while." He says, "Yeah." I said, "It's been about 6 years." And I said, "Man," I said, "Are you gonna be?" I said, "Are you gonna be back out here at Sunset?" He goes, "Absolutely." He says, "I got a couple more tours I got to do down there at Willamette Speedway." I said, "To get my little jitters and stuff out." He says, "I've been back about 5 races now." He said, "But this is close to my house." And he says, "I'll definitely be back for the rest of the season." I said, "Man," I said, "you keep doing what you're doing." He goes, "But these young kids and stuff," I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, whatever you're doing to your car, you're bad fast."
Well, Sean understands race cars, and talking with Sean, he's a fun driver to talk to because number one, he's positive.
Oh,
He's
he's
positive.
huge positive,
Got a great
yeah.
attitude about racing. Sean's he's a veteran driver. He's been around a long time. He's just a good guy. A lot of fun to talk with, and definitely spend just a little time bench racing with him. He's quite the character. I've known Sean a long, long time, going back to my days, building cars at Whitney Racing and Fabrication, even a little before then. And always a lot of fun to be around. So I'm glad to see him back behind the wheel and doing well.
Yeah, he's definitely funny. He told me that with all the kids and stuff like that, he's definitely have to pick up his spirits and try to pick up the car and try to get a little bit better. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to get better. I said, the way you're doing right now, I said you're just bad fast. So, all right. So this is how the feature is.
Okay, this is feature number 2.
This is feature number 2.
Okay.
This is another 600. That was oh, sorry guys. That was it's another 650 to win. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah. It was a good payday. Starting 6th, 3rd row outside, Kyle Yak.
3rd row outside.
Kyle Yak.
Okay, I'm going to talk about that. Give me the 5 drivers that started ahead of him.
Well, let's go with Bubba Foster. Sean Gentry was on the pole, or actually was on the outside of the front row.
Okay.
Cody Jones. I believe Jeff Lovell was also up there.
So
yeah.
we've got some
We've got
some hitters. We got some hitters
up there. I gotta look back at about my running order. But starting 14th, 7th row inside, Lightning John Campos.
7th row.
7th row.
Inside 7th row.
We had 15 cars. Well, 16 cars were supposed to start. Brandon Potter didn't show, so there's basically 15.
Okay.
7th row inside, Campos. 3rd row outside, starting at 6th, was Yak. So remember that Campos went out there and we got the lead. He was on top side, couldn't be touched, right? So Gentry gets out there in 5, 6, 7 laps into it, just looking like he's the man to beat. Jeff Lovell was up there. Matt Jenner was up there a little bit. Bubba Foster started moving through the field.
You got some names up there in the front.
So this is the biggest thing. So you have Kyle Yak, John Campos, Jeff Lovell, Bubba Foster, Matt Jenner. Now, remember the name of Craig Castle? Finished 13th, only 39 laps into it. Bubba Foster.
What happened to Castle?
I don't remember. I know that he had some issue. He was up there running towards the front.
Did it stem from the prior accident?
No, this happens to be... I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, those.
So this was a bad night for the 25 car.
It was a very, very bad night for the 25 car, especially in points. Bubba Foster, he hands down. I mean, he got some points.
That cat can drive.
So Kyle Yak takes over the lead, right? Coming through the field, every caution. I think we had 6 cautions.
Okay.
Every time a caution came out, John Campos a little bit further. Passes Bubba Foster. Passes Jeff Lovell, right? Passes. Well, Craig Castle was trying to battle through like Aaron Ellis and Bubba Foster on the outside and just couldn't get around him. And went to try to dive under. Actually, John was trying to dive under because they were running side by side so much. He just finally, on a restart, just drove his nose all the way down deep into turn 1 and finally just took that spot and stuff over. Because, I mean, for 6 laps, 7 laps, that's all he could do was just sit and wait.
Right.
Trying to wait.
Okay.
So 5 laps to go. Caution comes out. Who is on the back bumper of Kyle Yak?
I'm going to guess Campos.
Yeah, you're pretty good. That's pretty close, yeah. The 36 of Lightning John Campos. It was the battle.
We got a couple Willamette guys running up front.
Oh, God. It was the battle of the century because these two were so dang close when coming. I mean, John would run the high side, Yak right to the bottom, and they would slingshot each other. Then they would slide job each other. Then they'd come back, and then they'd be side by side, and then they'd go back into it. If these guys weren't an inch, I don't know how close. I don't know how they did what they did at sunset without banging each other. 2 laps to go. Campos got a run down the backstretch into 3 and 4. Campos is there. Gets up way up on the high side, up in the cushion. Just a little too far. Got to get it back down on the bars. Get it right back up on the bars. Allowed Yak to kind of pull in a little bit. I kind of said that a little bit in our driver's trophy dash deal. And I said, yeah. I said, this is the deal. I said, basically, I said, you know, Campos kind of lost that because he kind of screwed up, and he was behind me going, "Oh, thanks, buddy." So yeah, but it was cool. Yak, check out this finish by 0.381 seconds.
Wow.
Now,
and 2 good drivers doing that. I mean, the fans got their money's worth.
They got their
there.
Tons of money worth.
Well, just looking at the field of cars there, that starting field was. I mean, that's worth the money right there.
You want to hear a funny story? 30 seconds into it, interviewing Yak and everything else, and his dad's there because I actually texted you and I said, hey, is his dad down there? And you're like, no, Yaks are down here because I didn't know his dad was up with us. And
Kyle didn't have much to say, did he?
He's got so many words.
He doesn't have any words.
I love this kid. He's just like, yeah, I got to thank all my sponsors and.
He's just so, but that's how he drives too. That's why
I'm telling you, he's a sleeper.
He's so calm, so collected, so there's no emotion in his driving, and that I think that is why, you see Kyle Yak do what he does. But like we've said it before on the show, if you can get that kid to smile, I mean, he's excited. That's really excited for him if he's smiling. You get him to talk and get any kind of emotion out of him.